there, and welcome to the Big Apple Scroll podcast. My name is Sam.
My name's Gary.
And today we're asking what's the crack about nature. So we're going to look at the color green, green areas, green places, our hometowns, home regions, beautifully green. Do we love animals and nature? Do we have any of those wild creatures in our homes? What we think about keeping plants and any advice we can give about that, especially it's going to be important for me, I can tell you. And should we protect this beautiful green planet? We just spoke about space and how we should protect this world and keep it safe and how beautiful it is. So shouldn't we protect it and keep it safe? So are you sitting comfortably?
I couldn't be more comfortable.
Yes. Really? Okay.
Yes.
Don't fall asleep.
Yeah, right. Yes, you might lose me here. I'm so comfortable. Yes.
Gary.
Yes.
Hello.
Sam. Hello. Yes. Okay.
Do you like the color green?
I do like the color green.
Ah.
I remembered something.
Okay.
From this question.
And
I'm going to ask you this.
I'm just...
Okay. And that is that I remember that when I had the opportunity the first time in my life to buy my own bicycle.
Right.
Or to have my own bicycle gifted to me, made as a gift to me.
Right.
I chose a green bike.
Okay.
It was a 10-speed bike. 10-speed. Now this was
light green,
this
dark
was
green?
in light green. It was kind of a metallic green.
Very flashy.
Very flashy.
Very flashy.
This was in 1965.
Okay. So you were like 2.
I was 2 at the time. Yes, thank you again. Right. Yes, I was extremely young. It was a very small bike. My little legs. Yes, right. Yes, right.
Stabilizer.
Yeah, stabilizer.
Stabilizer.
Yes, with the stabilizer, the training wheels we call
We
those,
have something in common because now I was bought by my parents, but I had when I was 12, 13, I had, not in 1960 something, but I had a lovely green bike. And they used to say, here comes Sam and his mean green flying machine. Wow. I used to cycle to school. And it got to be known that Sam was coming to school on his green bike. And it got to be known that I didn't drive the slowest or cycle the slowest. All right. So it was Sam coming in his mean green flying machine.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm kind of proud of that. I mean, it was the best I could get out of school. You know.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
It's my best achievement.
Right. He had a reputation already at that age. Yeah.
So
I do like green.
I must admit, it is my favorite color.
It's my favorite color too.
I love it more than ever, to be honest. And you know, Ireland, and I'm from from Northern Ireland, but nevertheless, Ireland has a nickname of being the Emerald Isle.
I have heard of that.
Yeah, and I mean, there are other green places. Don't get me wrong, and England is very green too, and Scotland, but you do notice that Ireland is green. It strikes you in all the different shades. It's fantastic.
Beautiful. Yeah. Do you have snow? Sorry, don't.
Yeah. Like 4 or 5 days a year, we have snow.
Okay.
And it's almost half an inch thick. Maybe it was sort of 1 centimeter, so it's quite severe.
Right. Right. Yes. Nothing moves. Yes. Right.
But it doesn't stop the grass growing. It's not quite enough. You know, those 5 days aren't enough to stop the grass growing.
Does it actually? It doesn't cover the grass? Does it cover it?
It sits above it. No, I mean
it does cover the grass.
You'll get a bit of white, and the place looks like a winter wonderland, right? And everyone always hopes every year for a white Christmas, and it doesn't happen too often. But it's not that kind of weather. And I was going to say unfortunately, but it's okay. I mean, I love the idea of a white Christmas. But I don't know. There's something magical about green too. Sure. I guess I would miss it if it were gone for too long.
Right. So, like in Novosibirsk, where there's a question whether it will ever be seen again. Yes. Each year.
It shocked me, you know, when I came. I was shocked by the idea that there wouldn't be grass straight away when the snow melted. And I obviously didn't think too clearly about this beforehand, right? But I never thought clearly enough the idea that, of course, the grass would die underneath a meter or half a meter of snow, of course the grass would die. But it never really occurred to me until someone said that, the grass is going to have to grow again. I thought, well, oh yeah, right.
There you go.
So of course it does, yeah. So sort of 8 months of snow. Maybe it's not quite 8 months. Maybe 6, 7 months. But it seems
like it
seems long anyway. Is your home region way back in America? And I know you're here a long time in Novosibirsk, but is it very green?
It's quite green.
Yeah. The Emerald State.
The Emerald State, yes. It's known for its potatoes and its emerald color. No, it is quite green, especially depending on the part of the state. But
remind us,
it's Ohio, the state of Ohio, which is up on the Great Lakes. It's kind of across from Canada, across from Toronto, basically, you could say. So,
okay. So it's kind of quite northeast-ish.
Like roughly.
Not as far as the coast, but
right,
up
not
that
on the
direction.
coast, right? Yeah,
Right.
We call it Midwest, but it's actually not very far west.
Okay,
it's more east,
right.
But it is quite green.
Because if you live in New York, it's Midwest.
Yeah, that's like you think where it comes from.
Okay.
It started from the East Coast and went west, and so for some time it was like the West.
Right. I guess before the West was really taken over by, when it was still the Wild West, I guess.
Right.
It's what I'm imagining, not knowing too much about
no,
it.
it was not the Wild West, but it was it was the west of the country at some point. The frontier moved west from the East Coast.
Okay, so it's a beautiful green.
It is
lakes and rivers.
It is quite green, and it has lakes and rivers. And especially if you get into kind of the middle of the state, where I spent about 10 years, I was working, and it's even more green, and it has hills. And where my home city of Cleveland, Ohio, is kind of flat.
Okay,
but it's still green. It has nice parks. There's a ring of parks around it, and
is it snowy?
It is snowy in the winter, not like here, of course, but we do have snow, so it would be maybe a couple of months of snow, maybe something like that.
That's quite a bit, yeah.
But it is green.
Yeah. Great. Hang on, I'm not going to ask you that. Are you, not yet.
Don't ask me that.
Don't ask me that.
Why are you going to ask me that? Don't ever ask me.
Are you a nature or animal lover? That's what I'm going to ask you.
I would say lover is a very strong word, but I guess I'm a nature lover.
You're not a nature hater.
No, I'm certainly not a nature hater. I'm maybe a nature liker.
Nature liker.
I like nature. No, I love nature. But I'm not. I'm sure there's people that
you don't bask in its beauty every day.
Not every day. Sometimes I do, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
You're not like Superman, who needs he needs the sun to recharge and stay alive. I mean, theoretically. And then you're not like that you need plants and green to survive.
I think for maybe not to survive, but for things to be healthy and happy, I think green,
little bit of
plants really helps.
Right.
Really helps a lot. Yeah.
Do you have pets at home?
I don't have pets.
Okay.
That's one of those things. If your family didn't have pets, then you don't have pets.
But do you love dogs and cats? Have you ever thought of having?
I would call myself a genuine dog or cat liker.
Okay.
I don't necessarily love them. How about you?
You're not allergic to them?
I'm not allergic, no.
Okay.
No.
I am a lover of animals in general. One of my favorites is bats.
Bats.
Yeah.
Well, I would have to say I don't even like bats.
I talked to Ken about this. I know it's unusual, right? I'm not. I'm aware of that.
Okay.
But I'm a lover. I'm a lover. I enjoy seeing and spending time around animals, and I love nature and green and trees and plants. I'm not like a lover of flowers per se, because. For me, they're to be gifted to my wife or mom or whatever. But I'm a lover of nature and being in nature, and I'm especially a lover of dogs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a dog?
Bats interest me. Yeah, my parents have a dog. Here in Novosibirsk, I don't. My apartment.
City
it's
life.
Not suitable for a dog in my view. So it's but my parents have a dog, lovely little toy dog, Bichon Friche. It's like a little ball of white
some kind of
fun.
French dog?
My French is bad, but it is a French name.
That sounded very French.
Trust me, it's not. Okay. But the words are French. Okay. My pronunciation is not, but the words are French.
Sound good.
Bichon Friche. Brisson free,
wow,
maybe Brisson free.
Sam, it's just so beautiful.
Are you serenaded?
Actually, I don't know what to do here. You know,
let me go. Let me go to the avatar with you.
I will now. Just let me talk of my little dog.
Do you want a piece of my garlic? I'm starting to become Dracula now.
Okay, it's a different problem.
So they have a little white ball of fluff, a little white ball of fun. With its lovely tail and its curly white hair and mild nature, and you enjoy its company. She Poppy is her name, which is the name of a flower.
Yes,
it's mak in Russian. This flower, you get little seeds that you can eat. But she's really, really friendly, and you come in and she'll welcome you, and she's not a good guard dog at all.
Okay.
Pretty useless in that respect, but she's a great friend.
Okay. Good.
So I'm a nature and animal lover for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say I am too, but I know that there are people that are more so, and including probably you. But
you're not like a super enthusiast or anything.
No, although I am a tree defender.
So we have this phrase, tree hugger. Are you a tree hugger?
I am afraid I may even be a tree hugger.
Right.
So hug is, in Russian is обнять, обнимать. So maybe I am a tree hugger.
Right.
I will tell you why. Where I live, my apartment, used to have...
In your apartment, there were trees?
No, outside my apartment. There was a nice row of very nice birch trees.
Yeah, the
very
national
beautiful
Russian tree.
Yeah, the beautiful white trees. And for whatever reason, my building decided that they needed more parking.
Okay.
For their all-important automobiles.
Well,
more important than anything in the world is... a lot of parking for their automobiles. And they cut down all of the trees.
All of them?
In this row.
Right, yeah.
At which point, the beautiful
Not
shade...
all in the world, just that row.
Thankfully, I'm sure that they would have done all the world if they could have, because that was the way they were thinking. Yes, more parking.
They were on the warpath.
Yes, that's right.
We need parking.
We need parking,
now.
right, that's right. And I was very unhappy. And had I been there when the decision was made... I think they just made the decision without talking with the residents.
Okay.
The stakeholders, as they say.
Okay.
And so they just went and did it. And I was not happy because now the sun is we say,
directly
beating down. And it looks like every other place in the city.
No joy, no light on your street.
It just looks like it has wonderful parking.
Yeah,
I gotta say.
Well, that's increased the price of your property. I mean, the value of your property.
Well, I would rather have my living quality improved by the same amount that it was damaged by taking the trees down.
So I don't know, Gary. You say you're not a nature lover.
I think maybe I am.
But maybe you are more than you realize.
I think you may be right. It's all coming out.
I must say,
here.
there's a lovely leafy street that I've started to come recently to work down.
Oh, which street is that?
It's Kamenskaya.
Yes,
and it's very nice.
It is.
To walk under the trees and beside the park and lots of green.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that, actually.
Yeah, that's excellent, yeah.
Speaking specifically about trees.
Yes.
And we could have actually called this trees. What's the crack about trees?
Yeah, right, yes. Let's rename this.
Right.
We're just going to talk about trees for half an hour.
Right. So if you hear, what's the crack about trees? You know we've renamed it.
Right. Well, we're very good editors, so you wouldn't even know.
If you were a tree, Gary.
Yes.
What kind? Try not to laugh.
Okay.
If you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be?
Okay, I know you don't want me to name a kind of a tree.
You're a talking tree.
I'm a talking tree. I'm a walking, talking tree. I would be an oak tree.
Oh,
and
okay.
oak trees are, in Russian, it's dub.
Dub. Right.
Okay, and no comments on my being dub.
I know that word.
Do you know, it also means that someone is a little bit dense.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like, it means like,
dup.
The thing is that you say you're like an oak tree, and then you're supposed to hit a wood thing.
Right.
I'm telling you.
Could you theoretically use that to talk about a person?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm learning.
That's a Russian thing.
I'm learning bad habits.
As I understand it. So.
I'm learning bad habits from you, Gary.
That's right. I've got a million.
You could get me in trouble.
That's right. Yes. You've only touched the hem of the garment, as they say. Yes. All right.
So why would you be an oak?
I would be an oak because I have had the opportunity to have some large oak trees. In my world.
Okay.
And they are a very amazingly large tree when they get old.
Yeah.
And so they get very, very tall. They're very wide at the same time. They're just a very amazing tree. And they all grow from a little tiny acorn.
Right, this little nut.
Which is a sholud.
Okay.
Zholud.
I've seen that word. I'm not going to try and pronounce it.
Yeah, I can't. Well, I just tried, and that was not successful. But anyway, yeah. And I just think they're a very amazing and wonderful, impressive, just kind of being. Creature. Yeah.
I must admit, there are some oaks around where I grew up, and they're a beautiful tree.
Yeah.
Very, I don't know, there's something... they remind me of home, probably. But, I mean, I love pine trees.
And the trees
and birch
are very
and
beautiful,
beech and lots of trees. But I think, well, maybe it's because oak is quite traditional. It's not the only one in the UK, but I think it's one of those trees that a lot of people admire in the UK. And I guess we kind of feel like it's kind of like our tree or one of our trees. If we were to pick a national tree like Russia has. But... Well, so if I were a tree,
yes, if you were a tree,
we would both be talking trees now.
Well, we would.
I'm not going to. I thought of saying an oak, but I would like to be a tree where things can live in. I mean, plants.
Okay.
Plants and animals can live beside, under, and in. I would like to be a tree that has branches that is comfortable for lovely little animals to come, squirrels, and an owl or two, and maybe my bats, my favorite bats.
Your bats. The bats love those trees.
I would love to have a few bats accompany me, being friends with me, and they love to roost in trees if it's the right kind of.
Oh, do they really?
Inside a tree, you could find them, or on some people put boxes so they can live in those. They need to sleep upside down, of course. It's true.
Right.
But I mean, you're laughing, but if you saw what I saw as a young teen, very young teenager, maybe 12, 13, and I saw bats. And they're not big. I mean, in the UK, they're not big, and they eat insects, little flies and stuff.
That's true.
And they're flying about, and they're doing these acrobatics. Pardon my pun.
Touche.
They're doing acrobatics. I'm sorry for the bad pun.
But that's okay.
They're doing these acrobatics. Yes. I mean, they're so maneuverable.
Yes,
and
they're amazing.
The more I started to learn about them, and the more I learned about them, the more I realized that these are an amazing creature.
Well, they are.
Their hands or their wings. I mean, they've very long fingers with the wing is like a strong skin stretched over their between their fingers.
Wow.
And that is their way to maneuver and everything. So they're just turning their fingers and flying about.
Wow.
And echolocation and these big ears and everything. It makes them
it's
a
kind
really
of a high tech. It's like a high tech bird.
Yeah. I mean, if it was like a computer, it would be and with all the Wi-Fi, even back in the 1990s.
Yeah, that's right.
They would be fantastic models.
Yeah, it would have 5G back in 1999.
Exactly, yeah. But they are amazing. So I would want them to live in me.
Okay.
And maybe some fruit, like berries and stuff. I used to pick, well, not from a tree, but I used to pick blackberries with my grandmother, my dad's mum. And I guess maybe I'd have some of that too on my tree.
Okay, so you're making up a tree here, which is fine.
No, it's a tree with berries and with animals living in it. I'm gonna say that. I don't know what that.
what exactly?
Would that be mulberry? Maybe does it have berries?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I don't know.
Mulberry. I think it's berry.
Maybe too small a tree, is it?
I don't know. Yeah.
So I'm making up.
That's fine.
But I'm talking too. This tree is talking. So, I mean, it has to be an interesting one.
Absolutely. Anyway. It's a multi-talented, multifaceted tree.
Activities in nature. Do you join them? What was the last one you've done? Or do you enjoy them, first of all?
I enjoy them in a small way, but very much. So I have a little place that little section of woods, a couple of them, in Academ Garadok, to the south of our fair city, or part of our fair city. But and I just go and I walk around for like half a day.
Okay.
And it's very beautiful woods. There's birch trees and there's pine
pond
trees
down there and everything.
Yeah.
You've been to that duck pond?
Yeah, this is another section where there's
different.
That's even nicer. Right. That's kind of arranged, and this is.
Don't tell us your secret place, because we'll spoil it.
I know there'll be people, all the
coming to see
listeners of the podcast.
You're that podcast talker.
Right, that's right. Right. People in the woods, full of but anyway,
you can enjoy nature.
I do enjoy it. Yeah, very much so. Actually,
right.
Yeah.
I'm a lover of hiking. I've spoken about this before, but I'm a lover of hiking. In Northern Ireland, there's a mountain range called the Mourne Mountains.
How do you spell that?
Mournes. Mournes.
Okay.
Or the Mourne Mountains without an S.
Okay.
And they are not big, but they are beautiful. As I guess you could say about any mountain range, but they're beautiful. Lovely and green, as I've gathered, as I've spoke about. And near the sea, the Irish Sea, and there's a town not far away, Newcastle it's called, not the one in England or Australia or anything, but there's a Newcastle in Northern Ireland too, and it's a fantastic place. You can go up and down in half a day, and it's great. And I've been there alone, I've been there with my best friend, I've been camped there, I've eaten sausages and beans there, I've done pretty much everything there.
Okay, well, if you've eaten sausage and beans there, then you've done everything there.
Well, that's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
That's right. I mean, there's just nothing more you can say.
I made my QED. Right. It's solved.
Right. No need to say any more about It's all been done there.
We spoke about this before. Now, I asked you if you have animals at home. So you don't.
I don't.
You don't. And I have a dog, but it's my parents. I mean, my parents have.
Right.
So I grew up with dogs, but at the moment, I don't. But do you keep plants?
I do keep plants.
Ooh.
Yes.
Right.
I do. And I have a few plants. I have in front of my window, I have plants, maybe 6 plants, 7 plants, a small number of plants.
It's a forest of plants. Garden.
Kind of, yeah. No, they're orchids.
Okay.
Orchids of different sorts, and one other plant that's something else. And I do enjoy them. I enjoy watching what they do.
And you look after them and think of them.
I do, in a minimal way, yeah.
Okay. And do they need to be watered often?
I water them once a week, and someone taught me how to do this so that it takes its complete minimal care.
So, you don't drown them or anything?
Well, no. Actually, what you do is you do drown them.
Oh, right. Okay.
But only for 20 minutes.
Okay.
And they drain. The water goes out from them.
Right.
And then you just put them back, and that's it. You do drown them. And it's the orchids that I have anyway are in a kind of a pot within, pardon the The pot.
Mr. Potts,
Mr.
right?
Potts, yes.
Okay. You better be careful what you say here.
I'm explaining how useful and wonderful these are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so the water drains out. The pots have, it's really not the pot, but it's kind of a pot inside of a pot, and the water drains through the holes that are in this inner pot. It's plastic, and that allows the water not to stay in, so the roots don't rot.
Okay. Right.
And so I
I'm
just
already
do that
learning.
Yeah,
Oh,
right. Yeah.
okay.
That's what you do with these.
Because I've had a couple of plants. And before I was married, I had a couple of plants and I killed them. I mean, not intentionally. I wasn't violent.
Okay.
But for example, I had my own room in a place in Belfast, but my parents' place was 50 kilometers or so away, 30 miles for you. And I would spend my time between those two places. And I remember I was on holidays or something for a while. And of course, maybe 2 weeks.
All right.
And the plant was in a hot, summertime, in a hot room.
Yeah.
And I might have forgotten about it a little bit, just maybe. And I tried to revive it afterwards without any. I think it was a bonsai tree.
Oh. Okay.
I got the idea of having a bonsai tree from the film Karate Kid.
Okay.
It's got that kind of culture idea of karate is from Japan, and the bonsai, I believe, if I'm right, it's also from Japan.
I think so. Yeah.
And it's a very nice idea, like an art form of a tree. You trim it and all, and I loved that idea. I mean, in principle, it was a good idea, right? But
right, it's a fine principle.
But this is me, and unfortunately, I killed the plant, unintentionally killed it.
It happens. Yes.
My wife and I had a plant, and this was also when we went, well, not when we went on holidays, but afterwards, unfortunately, the poor thing, I don't know what happened, but it also died. Maybe just by the fact that I existed near it. You
think that's the problem?
I'm not good for plants, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe I'm taking energy from them, like Superman.
Yes, sucking energy. I'm feeling the same thing right now. If you're feeling me weakening, that's what I just...
I don't, so you...
Just joking. It's quite
You have already helped me. You've talked about these orchids
I'm
and draining them and making sure their roots don't rot.
It kind of helps to, if a north window, if you put them in a window, sometimes the window, if you, like a south window, let alone an east window, if too much direct sun is not, I think most plants are not real happy with that.
Okay. And it's recommended, a lot of hospitals did or still do, I don't know, move plants at night because of, because they switch their mode at nighttime and they start to take oxygen.
Okay, maybe that's my problem. They're sucking oxygen out of.
Do you move them from your sleeping quarters at night?
They're not in my sleeping quarters. They're in my kitchen.
So you're fine.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Right.
That's why I have this incredibly robust appearance.
Youthfulness.
Oxygen, yes.
Right, youthfulness. We keep talking about historical things, and you're like, I remember that.
Well, I do,
Thinking, wow, okay. Yeah, I didn't want to ask.
It's frightening, yeah. Well,
Civil War, do you remember?
Right, yes, that was a bad one. Yeah,
World War II, World War I.
Yeah, yes.
But what about the Crimean War? Do you remember?
That was nasty, too, yes.
The Great Pyramids.
Now that was difficult work. Yeah, right. I'd have to say.
We're going to talk very briefly about climate change.
Okay.
Is it a real thing?
I am afraid it may be a real thing.
Right.
It seems like it may be a real thing. My one reason that I think it may be a real thing is historical once again. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I came to Novosibirsk in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
1996 it would have been, and through to 2000. I remember when there were not really very many cars here.
Right. Okay.
And parking was not a problem.
Okay.
So all the trees could remain exactly where they were. Trees were there.
Right.
And then when I came back, I was away for a while, and then I came back in 2007, and all of a sudden there were just a lot of cars, and every year there are more and more cars. And what is happening here, I believe, happened through the entire developing world at the same time.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, speaking about Northern Ireland, I think so, yeah.
Oh, in Northern Ireland, too?
Yeah. I mean, at one stage, my family had 4 cars in one house.
Right.
3 4-bedroom house, we had 4 cars.
Right.
So, yeah.
I
mean, my brother, my older brother, me, my mom, my dad, we all needed one for work. And we all, different times, different places.
One per person, we had 3 cars when I was at home, sure.
And I guess, I mean, when I was a youth, when I was a little boy, which I'm not going that far back, right? I'll tell myself at least.
Yes.
I don't think that would have been heard of. I mean, most people didn't have 2 cars even. I mean, mom and dad didn't have
when I
2
was
cars.
little too, that was.
Now it's becoming not more affordable, but it's more normal to have that. And should we be doing more to protect nature?
I suspect we should.
Yeah.
I suspect we should. It would benefit everyone.
Right. Are the cars and stuff doing the damage?
I think they are.
Right.
I don't have a car now.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I don't have a car now.
Right.
And I live in the city. I don't need a car.
Yeah.
If I were in the United States, almost anywhere except a really big city, I would need a car.
Right. I felt I needed a car in Northern Ireland too.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate, but I think they're very. It is not a quality of life. Right. It's a bad quality of life.
It's like a bad habit, maybe. And not just for one person, but for the entire human race.
Yeah, it's right. Kind of like we're all developing a bad habit at the same time,
By education, I'm a civil engineer.
Okay.
Which means that, by education, I learned how to build bridges and roads. And so I'm kind of guilty in promoting cars in that point of view. Right. I worked a bit in that sphere. And, but actually, when I think about how could you solve this, I think we need to think of a completely different world. We need to rethink how we operate completely.
Okay.
I mean, we need to, we need to stop being dependent on cars. But I mean, I'm not going to be the one that tells people to do that. But,
right.
But I honestly think that to stop the amount of cars, we need to rethink how we go to work, or do we go far to work, how we live, and completely change urban environments to suit that. Which is how you could do that, I'm not even gonna guess.
The politics of it are really difficult.
I mean, wow, it would be radical to do that, but so in summary, or at the end of our podcast, I want to ask you hopefully a hypothetical question.
Okay.
So, what would the world be like if people photosynthesized? Oh, can I say that? Photosynthesized, instead of eating food. So photosynthesis. And pardon me, I didn't put my teeth in today, but it's when plants are dependent on light, sunlight, and water and nutrients from the soil, and they take in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen. And then at night, when the light's not there, they switch over. They suck in your oxygen and put out carbon dioxide. And I mean, what would it be like if we were dependent on light, soil, and water? I mean, we were dependent on water, but what would it be like if we really needed sunlight to survive, and we really needed to be in touch with the soil, touching the soil all the time?
Okay. Well, Sam,
I can see you're enjoying this question.
That's a great question. Besides a word that's hard to pronounce, photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis.
I'm not even going to try.
Take a little drink of water. Hang on.
That's right. Okay. I think it would be interesting. I think the world might be a more peaceful place.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that I can think of is we wouldn't have a lot of concrete on the ground.
I would really be glad of that.
We would need to be in touch with the soil, so I think we wouldn't have that concrete.
I don't like concrete.
Asphalt or tarmac or whatever.
Yeah. Not to mention the all-important tiles like they have here in Novosibirsk. They like tiles very much.
On the ground?
Plitke, yeah.
All right.
I walked past the Opera Theater on my way over here, and there was just this...
What I would call paving slabs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Well, it's with tiles, individual tiles.
I got you.
And there was just nothing on it. There's benches.
Yeah.
Along the edges of this tiled
You miss
slab.
having nature underneath you. You're not a nature liker, you're a nature lover.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
So I guess we wouldn't have the big high-rise buildings. We would have to
would be good
we
too.
would have to think differently and have buildings the cities would be more spread out, maybe.
That would be good
Or
too.
maybe, I don't know, maybe we would have a lot of green spaces nearby where we work or live or something.
Yeah, that would be good.
So maybe we should try and figure out how to do that so that we can help us protect the planet, because we have to. We have to.
Well, you're
survive.
the civil engineer, and I've got my degree in English. So that's all right. I won't offer anything to it.
Well, thank you for that task.
Right.
So,
yeah,
it's been interesting.
It has.
It's been an interesting talk. And we both love green. We both are
I think
nature
we've
lovers.
decided. Yes.
So we've talked about what's the crack about nature. We've agreed that we both love green. We're from green places. We love nature and spending time in nature. We love trees, and we could really imagine ourselves being some kind of tree. And you advised me how to look after my plants. Maybe I won't kill them in future.
All right.
And we talked a little bit about protecting our planet, hypothetically.
Hypothetically,
We haven't implemented anything yet, but maybe our listeners will have a bit of clout, a bit of power to do that.
Powerful listeners.
Powerful listeners. So that was the crack about nature.